You know, if there's one thing about Pastor Dowell, I have lived in this world long enough to watch it go from what would seem like to be somewhat good to bad to worse. Now, most of you who don't know me or never have heard of me, I'll give you just a quick brief background. I'm a 10-year veteran, United States Army. I was in the 82nd Airborne Division for about 5.5 years. I did some time in 3rd Infantry Division over in Germany, and I finished up at the Joint Readiness Training Center, JRTC, in Op 4. And I would like to go ahead and add my 2 cent worth in as a veteran paratrooper, and say that whether people like it, comprehend it, and understand it or not, the sole purpose for veterans going into the military is to defend this country from all enemies, foreign and domestic, a constitutional right. And I know that many of you may not like people protesting. And I've watched the spin that was in when I saw Colin Kaepernick stand up and protest the national anthem, not the military. He was very clear in his words, because another veteran, what we would call a buddy of ours, who was a veteran in the Special Forces, gave him the actual ideal the same way we do. We take a knee whenever one of our buddies are falling or something like that. And he gave Colin Kaepernick what was more honorable and respectful than the President of the United States of America, who received multiple deferments because of bone spurs in his feet that he'd been walking on for the last 60, 70 years. Like Bill Clinton and so many others, that as Jesse Ventura labels them, chicken hawks. They were chicken when a number was called to get out there and go fight for this country that they allegedly, so-called, quote-unquote, love. And I'm not going to let people forget this stuff. I know a lot of people would rather just sweep it under the rug and forget it. I'm not going to let them forget it. Because I've watched the lights go out of men's eyes. And it ain't a glorious thing to look at, nor see or experience. And it's just a sad situation that they were chicken when it came time for them to go to war when a number was called. And then next thing you know, they come back because they have a silver spoon in their mouth, or a gold spoon, whatever you want to call it in their mouth. And now they come back, they're hawking, they're very bullish on war. Well, I fought for the right, and every veteran would tell everybody out there the same thing. We fought for the right for people to be able to exercise their constitutional right to protest. You may not like it, but they have a right to protest. And regardless of what they're telling you and regardless of what they're saying out there, Colin Kaepernick has never protested the military. And if you watched it from like 2008 on up, you watch this build up of patriotism in the NFL and other people. And I sit and watch how they gang people, the general public, all the time. That's to go on to say this. Listen to this. This is where we're coming as a country. Check this out. Florida student faces misdemeanor charges after refusing to stand for a pledge of allegiance. You mean to tell me we're going to start charging people on misdemeanor charges and give them a record because they don't want to stand during a pledge of allegiance? An 11-year-old student in Florida is facing charges after refusing to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and creating a disturbance in the classroom, police said. What kind of disturbance can someone create if they're just sitting down? The boy was arrested for causing a disruption and refusing repeatedly instructions from the school staff and law enforcement. Polk County Public Schools spokesperson Cal Kennedy said in a statement, he was not arrested for refusing to participate in the pledge. Okay, let's see what the spin is then. Even though students have a right to do so by Florida law and district policy. The 6th grader from a Tampa suburb allegedly told his substitute teacher, the flag is racist. and the national anthem is offensive to black people. Bay News 9 reported, citing the statement the teacher gave the district. In response, the teacher said she asked the student, why not go to another place to live if it was so bad here? She said, he answered, they bought me here. Ooh-wee. Let me answer this thing about go to another place to live. The majority of people who have melanated skin in this country are already indigenous to this land. And, you know, through conquest, colonialism, and rape, robbing, murdering, pillaging, stealing, undermining, that's how this country was taken. And what we are looking at here, we're looking at a younger generation being informed about the facts of this country that we would love to continue to keep deceiving the masses of the people about the true history of this country. I often said it again. Let's just use a little bit of self-autonomy, and then we're going to roll on with it. When the Constitution of the United States of America was written, and believe you me, I keep them on my desk right here. It's under a bunch of stuff. It's Declaration of Independence. I have it here on this desk. But when the Constitution of the United States of America was written, and when it says that we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men were created equal, and they were endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, the right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, which really means property, that did not apply to the blacks, nor did it apply to any women in this country, be they black or white. Didn't apply. That only applied to all white men. It wasn't until 1957 that things start to change, but not at the loss of life. Not without the loss of life during the civil rights movement. And of course, the only thing that people was trying to do is get a little bit of dignity after being treated less than human beings. So let's go on with the story. I know many people rather ignore the facts here, but let's go on right here. The substitute identified by district officials as Anna Alvarez said, well, you can always go back because I came here from Cuba. And the day I feel I'm not welcome here anymore, I would find another place to live. And that's one thing for a grown woman to be talking to an 11-year-old boy like that, but talk to an adult about like that who is informed. Why would a grown woman want to talk to an 11-year-old boy like that? To me, that's abusive. Alvarez said that she called the office on February the 4th because she did not want to keep dealing with him. According to her statement, an officer and a school administrator tried to calm the student, and the Lakeland Police Department said in Sunday night's press release, the administrator asked him to leave the classroom for more than 20 minutes. Police said that the student allegedly made threats while being escorted to the office. Police transported the Lawton Childs Middle Academy student to the Juvenile Assessment Center and charged him with disrupting a school function and resisting an officer without violence. Resisting an officer without violence. Man, it's a good thing I use self-autonomy, because the double talk and the double speech in this article right here is off of the proverbial chain. The Lakeland Police Department said officers would not arrest a student for not standing during a Pledge of Allegiance publicly. Public Information Officer Gary Gross told USA Today on Sunday, but in general would arrest a student for screaming, yelling, and making threats. Darika Tabla, the boy's mother, told Bay News 9 that she wants the charges dropped. She denied the arrest affidavit accusing her son of threatening to beat up a teacher, the station reported. Of course, you know, who knows what's going on now, because usually when power corrupts, it corrupts absolutely. She was wrong. She was out of place, told Tabit. Tabitha told the Bay News 9 if she felt like that there was an issue with my son not standing for the flag, she should have resolved it in a different way or a different manner than she did. Alvarez no longer works as a substitute in the district, Kennedy said, adding that the teacher did not know the students weren't required to participate in the pledge, where they should be better trained before they take on the job of being a substitute teacher then, should they? The district will also review training for substitute. There we are right there. Kennedy said. First Amendment rights prevent schools from requiring students to recite the pledge or salute the flag, the Supreme Court ruled in 1943. And mind you, people other than whites in this country didn't have any rights. And I will quote Ann Coulter, only black people have civil rights. Everybody else has rights. The article originally appeared in USA Today. You know, I bring up stuff like this because I realize that most of us don't know history. We know the history that has been crammed down our throats and then has put in the textbooks, but there's a lot of things that simply has been ignored. And we live in a time now that if you want to become unpopular, tell the truth. You want to be hated, tell the truth. Stand for the truth. You would not believe the visceral attitude and the dishonor, the disrespect that you would get from dumb, dormant, docile, demoralized, and demonized people just by standing on the truth. You don't believe me? I don't care what truth it is. Stand on the truth and watch the manifestation of everybody around you and how they will literally go stark, raving, mad. And there's only one reason, because they ain't unplugged. They're not unplugged from the proverbial matrix. So I just reported something. Let's just watch the Dog and Pony Show. Get your popcorn on the comments on this video right here. You won't believe what you're getting ready to see. You're getting ready to see a manipulated and docile, controlled people come alive all of a sudden, because they're passionate about issues that they know nothing about.